What up, people? We are in the house. We are in the doggone building. And we are live, so don't even worry about it. It is going down today. And today I'm putting on headphones and getting things done because today is a special day. Today is one of those days where everything is going so right, but it's also going so wrong. So while y'all are entering the building and we are steadily trying to get things back in order, it's been a busy morning for me, and it's been a busy day for my cohort. It's also been one of them days. You know what I'm saying? And before we get started, before we go live, I need a mic check 1 2 1 2 from the homie in the back. You know what I'm saying? Because I get absolutely nothing. Uh-oh. We can hear. I can see your mic moving. So we good. We good. So everybody that's in the building, while y'all are walking in the building, Miss Jeanette, y'all know how we do before we get started, because what we got going on today is something kind of special. And I just don't want to bring this person, this man, this phenomenon up just to regularly introduce him. So before we get started, y'all know how we do. We got to welcome the people that watch these videos. And first, we like to say thank you. So while you're here, can you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to leave your comments down in the comment section. And you know, before we do anything, we always recognize the CU aunties that are in the building, in the comment section. So when you see them, make sure you give them the respect and the admiration that's due. Make sure you just speak and say what's up. You ain't got to do nothing else. Just say hello and thank you, because they do what aunties do. They protect and they damn sure serve, and they ain't even the police. You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, man, before let's get this party started, welcome to And today we have a special guest in the building, a man that has done so many things in the Cleveland sports world and in the culture. A man that really needs no introduction, but I got to do it anyway, just out of pure respect. Welcome to the lunch table, G. Bush.
Big Snacks, my brother, man. I appreciate you, man. The intro was lovely. Y'all are much too kind around here, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to the CU aunties, and you know they are large and in charge in the building. They take no shorts, no disrespect, and so we got to shout them out first and foremost. And I want to thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate you.
Welcome, brother. Welcome. I appreciate you for taking the time out. I know it's Sunday, and Sunday is usually structured as a family day. You being a married man, me also. So, you know, Sundays are precious. Mine just went to church, so the house is all mine. I'm good.
You know first and foremost, I got to say, listen, I love your gaming setup back there. See, I got a little something like that downstairs. I got a little Street Fighter. I got a little another little arcade over there. So I like what you're doing back there. I see the Pac-Man, and you are doing your thing.
Appreciate it, brother. Y'all ain't seen that. Y'all need to see my house, dude. I got the NFL blitz right here to my right. It's a Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 setup, just like my Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man right here behind my monitors. Upstairs in the living room, in the den, where we got the pool table and the big TVs, we got Killer Instinct up there.
So you really into the fighting game? You really into it? Like,
yeah, I got all the classics though. I got the Donkey Kong up there. I got we got the what was the Pro Hunter, the shooter game upstairs. Then we got the bowling joint up there, you know, and a couple of other classics. I like to be in my house where I like my house to where I don't have to go anywhere else.
Hey, I listen. You are a man after my own heart, bro. I don't do too much. You know, most I get out really. Now, when I was in college, I was a wild boy. But as we get older, you know, I take my weekly walk or my daily walk with my wife, and then I'm in the house. But if I want to do some video games and stuff, I'm like you, man. We used to go to this bowling alley. My mom used to be in a bowling league, and I remember the video games lined up. You know, they had the Terminator, the shooting game with the Terminator. They had the Marios, the Street Fighters, the Mortal Kombat. And then I used to always go by there. I'm like, man, one day I'm going to get me one of them. And I got old. I said, boy, that's the first thing I did. So all my nieces and nephews love to come over. So it's a good time, man.
That's the same problem I got, dude. I can't keep my son's friends out of my house, my nieces and nephews. Now that all of us are in Texas, I can't keep them out from over here. And like I was telling everybody yesterday in my stream, that's the way I was raised when I came home. My house was the fun house. Yeah. And now my house is still the fun house. And I'm too old to do what everybody else wants to do. You know, I just want to sit at home and chill.
That's it. I watch the games, play a few video games, eat a nice cooked meal, and I'm good. That's all I need.
That's me all day. That's all I need to do is just chill out, drink a beer or two, watch some video games, play some video games, watch the TV. And unlike most men, my wife's a football junkie. So she will college football, NFL. I mean, she in fantasy leagues and the whole nine.
You know, ironically, it's so crazy because how we got. So I was trying to tell people how my wife got into football was she got into it by watching Colorado. So we started watching Jackson State. My dad went to a HBCU. He went to a small HBCU, Central State in Xenia, Ohio. And, you know, we started watching Jackson State. Basically, we was, you know, watching them and, you know, supporting and showing love. And he got the job at Colorado. And my wife is like, oh, no, I got to watch. It became such a big thing. Like my mom and dad would come over and my wife would watch, you know what I'm saying, Shedeur and Travis Hunter, Coach Prime. So it was like, you know, I'm from Ohio. We watch, you know, my dad, they like Ohio State. I went to Ohio University. So, you know, we didn't even have no allegiance, but we was watching Colorado every single, we watched all the games. It was and you know, it's 3 hours, sometimes different. So we wait until the games come on at night. So the ironic part is she became a football fan by watching Colorado, which is kind of funny because he ended up later getting drafted by the Browns, which we were super pumped about.
Yeah, that made it even better, you know.
Right.
And like if you see my living room is like my game room. I got 4 75-inch TVs on one wall, stacked up. Bananas. We watch football, bro. We don't leave the house.
For bro, what? You either got a Las Vegas gambling casino in your house, or you got a BW3s. You got the 470. How big is your wall?
Yes, my wall is huge. My living room wall, it stretches.
Dang.
When we built this house last year, I built that wall specific for those TVs.
Man, you got all kind. I bet you got about 4 or 5 studs back there.
Hey, that wall is sturdy. It ain't going nowhere. But on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's a TV house. It's a football house. My oldest son plays high school football.
Okay,
So
shout out to him.
Friday nights we out. You know, we going to the games doing that. Saturday morning, my young boy plays. Well, he plays for the middle school this year. Plus, he plays Pop Warner also. So Saturday mornings, that's what we do.
And it's in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, y'all dead serious. Like the way y'all do Friday Night Lights in Texas. People don't be knowing this, man. I'm a big geography buff, right? Somebody told me if you look, the Texas is so big that they said the capital of Texas is closer to the capital of California than it is to like Houston. So it's easier to go, it's closer to go to California than it is to go from one end of the state to the other. Like that's a whole day, man. Like
it takes from the east side of Texas on the tip to the west side of Texas on the tip of El Paso. It takes 14 hours to cross the state.
See, that's crazy.
Just driving.
And the crazy part about it is like the culture is just different. Like Houston is different from Dallas, and Dallas is different from Austin, and Austin is different from some of these all the other El Paso. So it's like it's so big that it's almost like its own country within it. But I really got into Texas because I had moved from Ohio to North Carolina, and they thought when you get there they say, oh, we really do barbecue, right? And so there's always been this little civil war, so to speak, between you got St. Louis, you got Texas, Kansas City, in the Carolinas about who is the godfather of this barbecue. Now in Texas, they take that very seriously.
Oh, you might get shot talking about barbecue in Texas. They don't even play about the Q down here.
Dead serious. Like everybody, every family got a secret recipe. Everybody do the brisket different. You got some people wrap it, then sit it, and some people say, man, I'm taking the membrane off the ribs. But so it's like I got really into it. It's crazy, man. I bought like 2 or 3 smokers, but Texas to me is funny because my aunt lives in San Antonio. And it's just I love the fact that the culture down there is you say everything is bigger. Yeah, they do it. They do it big. They do it big.
They do it real big down here. Just like me, I'm in Austin. So I'm in the middle of everything. I'm 2 hours from Houston. I'm 3 hours from Dallas. I'm an hour from San Antonio. So I get to take my boys to see everything. We'll go to a Houston game, just like in a couple of weeks, we going down to Houston and watch the preseason game. Tickets ain't for $30. Then the next weekend, we going to go up to Dallas and watch their preseason game.
Right.
And then we got basketball, football, baseball, and I'm right in the middle of all of it. I can just drive.
Are you a diehard fan for one or the other?
I'm a Cowboy. I'm a Cowboy guy.
You a Cowboy guy?
Yeah, blame it on my dad.
And you know what I told people too, because this was funny when we saw. Because shout out to all the Colorado people that come in, and came into the Cleveland Browns community. I was telling somebody. Usually, generally speaking, there's never an influx in your fandom. So if you were born, I was born a Browns fan because I come from the Hall of Fame city, Canton, Ohio. It's in Northeast Ohio. So we identify in that area. And my grandfather, my grandfather, my dad, everybody was Browns fans, even though we were terrible back then, but they go back to Jim Brown. And I was saying to people, there is very little change in the number of your fans because once you start rooting for somebody, you just root for them. It ain't really no change into it. So we had a bunch of people that came with Shadour Sanders, and I was like, man, this is crazy, bro. This is how it was people, the influx and just the traffic. It was bananas. And I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to embrace, hey, listen, welcome on to the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully we get it done. But yeah, like you are who you are.
Right. But like I tell people all the time, and they say, why do you follow these few players around the league? Because I've watched these few players grow from their beginning of their college career, or they were added on to Colorado by me following Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not just Cowboys are my favorite team. It's Cowboys are my favorite team. That's day one. But now I support the Cleveland Browns. Now with Travis, I support the Jaguars. Now with Jimmy, I'm with the Panthers. LeJohn, I'm rocking with Baltimore because, and this is good for the NFL.
Yeah.
Because, and especially for Cleveland, Cleveland's been searching for Jesus in quarterback shorts for 40 years since they've been back in the league.
40.
Yeah. They've been 89. Okay, we'll go back there.
That's the last time. And you know, I got a, you know, it's crazy because, you know, when I got in the industry, I started off basically a civilian. I just like sports talk. And me and my dad I played all the sports, played in college. And so, you know, when I was growing up, I watched all these guys playing during that era. The only thing we had, the closest thing to it was Bernie Kosar. He was, you know, somebody that got us to a point where we went to some AFC championship game. We all know about losing to John Elway and the fumble and all that good stuff. But I gotta, you know, I'm pretty good friends with Bernie at this point. And, you know, I talk to him all the time, and he was very high on Shadour Sanders, obviously he's a prime guy coming out of Miami. He liked Cam Ward too. So I'm talking to Bernie. He said, man, I said, did you ever think that it would be that many years since the Cleveland Browns was relevant? He said, no idea. He said, no, I never knew. If you would have told me back then it was going to be 30, it has been since 1989 the Cleveland Browns have won the division. And I said, you know how bad that is? Like, the division is only 4 teams. So that means in 30 some odd 40 years, you couldn't beat 3 other teams?
Nothing.
Not the Super Bowl, not AFC championship game. You couldn't win a division with 3 teams. That's how bad it's been.
Yeah, it's been bad. And me, with my family dynamic, I've had to watch it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the barbershop. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Yes, sir.
On both channels. You know, but with my family dynamic, me being a Cowboys fan, we moved to Dallas when I was younger. We didn't move to Dallas, we moved to Texas. My dad was teaching ROTC in Tyler because I'm an Army brat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made us a Cowboys family. But if you haven't heard this, check this out. My older brother, who now lives in Indianapolis, is a diehard Cleveland Browns fan. Diehard season ticket holder.
How did that happen?
Listen, but hold on. I got something else to freak you out. I'm the baby boy of 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
My other older brother and other older sister are Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Listen, my baby sister is an Eagles fan. All of this in one household. My brothers and sisters became Pittsburgh fans because their uncles are Pittsburgh fans.
Mm.
I don't know how the hell my brother became a Cleveland Browns fan, but that's what he is. And he's been that all of our lives. We grew up overseas, and I think that's what happened. Because one of my favorite players, my brother was older than me, so he played offensive line, played tackle. I played linebacker. Michael Singletary and the Bears came over for the first time to Germany to play. We went to the game, and a bunch of other football players was there, and a lot of them were Cleveland Browns players. And my brother got introduced to him there. And I think ever since then, he's been a Browns fan. And he hasn't wavered. He hasn't, with all these sucky years that y'all have had, he's been steadfast and 100% down with the Browns. And so that's how I know so much history about the Cleveland Browns, because me and him are real fans of football. My older brother, my older sister, they in and out. They not true fans. But him and I, we go to games together because he'll come down and go to some Cowboy games with us, and I'll go up and go to some Browns games with him. So through the years, I've just been watching him suffer, and I'm like, bro, I'm in the same page. We ain't won nothing since the 90s either.
Right.
So I can talk about you because at least we make it to the playoffs. But hey.
I shout out to your brother, man, because being a Browns fan, I did a blog the other day, and I said being a Browns fan is an exercise in patience. Yeah. And it's always the perpetual, it's next year. And sometimes you get fed up with it and it's the next year. But I think in being bad all that time, what it does, it galvanizes your spirits, right? So if you go back and look through history, the struggle is what draws people closer together. People always say you don't ever get better and you don't really learn anything from winning, because if you just winning, you're just going to keep it status quo. You're just going to keep it rolling. But when you losing, you be finding out a lot of difficult, tough lessons. And so what I tell people with the Cleveland Browns and how I go forward and look at it is you should be able to learn from your mistakes and what you've done before, instead of always having to learn the same thing over and over again, but not coming into the realization that, hey, we need to change this or figure this out. And sometimes it's like that in terms of, that's why when you look at this quarterback competition, I tell people all the time, sometimes something falls into your lap, but if you're not ready to accept it, if you're not mentally prepared or physically or emotionally prepared to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go with this, you'll always continue to make the same mistakes. And, you've been asking for a quarterback for 40 years. You've been trying to get the quarterback. We know the names, the Manziels. We know what it is. But even during this quarterback competition, people are willing to go and say, I'm going to cling to something that may not be the best, but I know it. It's safe. It's comfortable. Let me play Kenny Pickett. Let me play Joe Flacco. We can maybe figure out something with that. And I'm like, listen, nah, we not. Why would you do that? You already know what's behind closed door number 1 and number 2. But you got to do right here that got first round capabilities, that got leadership capabilities, that can throw the football. But you've been bad so long, you don't know what good look like. You've been terrible so long. When you're in the dark for so many years, it's kind of tough when you get out in the light and look around. That it hurts your eyes a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. You've been in jail for 30 years. You come out, you say, people was telling me what I could do, sit down, eat when I could do that. Sometimes people get out and be like, I'm uncomfortable with this. I need to go back. I'm institutional. All I know is that. So all you know is losing. And instead of you picking something that can help you propel you past that, you kind of doomed to choose the same doors and the same options. So that's how I see it sometimes when it comes to Cleveland Browns fans. But they loyal, they down all around the world. And my goal is to see the Cleveland Browns jerseys on Super Bowl Sunday. I think I might get emotional with that. Like if I just saw them jerseys, because like you said, the listen, you was forced to love the Cowboys in the 90s.
You didn't have no choice.
Aikman, Irving, Emmitt Smith, listen, Big Leon Lett, Charles Haley, Woodson, Darren Woods, all of them. From the offensive line to, that was it. And during them 90s runs, you had, like Cowboys 49ers was.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it. So I want to get there. And we'll see what they're gonna do. Hopefully Shedeur can do his thing, and hopefully the Browns can make the right decision, in my opinion. But you know how it is, man. You know how it is with certain organizations.
Yeah, it's easy, but it ain't easy because, like I told everybody, and you tell everybody, there's politics in this. Oh. This is not just, yes, you're better than him, so you get to play. That's not always the case. And in this situation, this is uniquely, and it surely isn't the case, because everybody knows who the best quarterback in the room is. That's evident. That's evident. We knew what Cleveland wanted to do with okay, let me ask you this. Cleveland put all of those resources into drafting Shedeur. pre-draft.
Yep.
A lot of people don't recognize why, and a lot of people in the Cleveland media still want to say he fell in the draft. Will you tell these people that wasn't their choice?
Man, so I did a blog the other day, and you know, I talked about it, and I said, I go back to the collusion thing with Deshaun Watson. And what I told people is, when you go back and watch that, and you look at that case with Deshaun Watson, it wasn't necessarily the fact that he had all the allegations and the different things like that. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with the Cleveland Browns offered Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract. And as the NFL, as we talk about it, the NFL is not about giving guaranteed contracts. The NFL makes billions of dollars. They are doing so, and it's the most savage sport on the market. Your length of time in your prime is 3 to 5 years. In that 3 to 5 years, you got to think about it. To even get to your second contract, if you're a first-round pick, just to even get to your second contract, you need to play 5 years. Then on top of that, you have the 6 year where they can franchise tag you. So that's another 6 year. They can franchise tag you up to 2 times. So that means if you're a good player, they can keep you on low wages, low salaries in a sport that is not good for your body. Head concussion, CTE, that lawsuit has been out there. So now they control you for 7 whole years. During that time period, wages are low. You have no negotiating power, because if every owner says our agreement silently in the back room is, we're not giving you that money, you're not going to offer the contract, and I don't care if he wants to be traded. If all the owners are in on it, guess what? There is no recourse. Put into the fact that before you even get to the NFL, they told you that you got to go make the college's money. Matter of fact, you can't even come out of college until your 3rd year. Listen, right now, Jeremiah Smith could play in the NFL for Ohio State today.
And Ryan Williams.
Today, they're number 1 receivers. But you know what they done told you? Nah, you're going to go make these other folks this money. You're going to make them money for 3 years. Then you get into the league. So that's 10 years. You could be playing your football for 10 years and not be getting your market value. The only position on the field that benefits and reaps the benefits is the quarterback, because it's the most identifiable position and or it's the most important. So when the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract that was the first of its kind, they had a meeting and said, no, under no circumstances will this be done anymore. By the way, the Cleveland Browns, you're on the blacklist. You're on the black. We're going to get you for that. And we know that Deshaun Watson was given 6 games by an arbiter judge who they hired by the league. The league comes back after she says 6 games. She said, no. Roger Goodell says, we're going to give you 11. We said, what? I thought you brought the federal judge in here. She said, no, we overruled her. It's 11 games. So now, that 11 games wasn't because they thought it was egregious, whatever they thought you would. And by the way, it just seems like after that, Tony Busby just was suing everybody. They just happened to get Deshaun Watson first. Jay-Z lawsuit, thrown out the door. Shannon Sharp, a lawsuit, thrown out the door. Now, that's another story, but we'll get, But anyway, the NFL told Tony Busby that, hold on now. No, Jay-Z is with us. You're overstepping your boundaries a little bit. We let you get Watson, but you're not going to get, we got Jay-Z is with us. This is Sammy Davis now. Now, look, now, after that, you get to the point where you say, well, how does this all deal with Shadour Sanders? What does the Shadour Sanders have to do with this? Well, Shadour Sanders, when he came into the draft, people is looking around and they say, oh, well, it's Prime. Prime is doing something different. Prime talking about, when Prime said, I'm gonna bring my Louis luggage, and he said, I'm going out and get people to come. When he turned Colorado, he said, bro, Colorado was looked at as the reason why NIL exploded. They looked at him as the reason as to why the NFL it should be scared, because now the kids in college, or young men, I don't want to call them kids, they making $9-10 million now. And what happens if they decide, well, listen, I'm not taking no less money than I made in college? What if this new generation starts to think about a little something? Every person that Shedeur goes to, now the rumors is, oh, Prime is coming to take the job too. Prime, do you want that distraction around? Do you want people to be cheering for the guy when you may not think he's ready to start? Long story short, they really, in my opinion, as the way it goes, they said, oh, no, we're going to humble you a little bit. Even the thought of you trying to say you're going to go where you want to go is not going to be a thing that we're going to stomach. And by the way, I thought it was very ironic when the Mannings did it was all right. When the Mannings did it, they applauded him. When Eli Manning did it, then nobody had no problems with it. They got it done and kept it pushing. But Shedeur and them did it. All of a sudden, it was a threat to the, and most likely, what we're talking about all the time is it's the threat to the power structure. And they don't like anybody threatening the power structure. Shedeur, he ended up going down and falling out of the first round. He gets to the second round. And everybody is now starting to look around and say, hold on now. He ain't going to the second round. He ain't going to the third round. Hold on. He ain't going to the fourth round. Now everybody around the country is saying, all right, even the people that was hating, I get it. Y'all wanted to prove a point. I get it. You want to prove a point here. But Shadour Sanders on Mel Kiper's board was the #1 quarterback. People had him no less than the second round. So you telling me he's in the 5th round now? So here's how it went. The Cleveland Browns, guess what? When they apologized to the league and said the Deshaun Watson thing was over. Deshaun Watson is over. We made a mistake on that. The NFL owners and council says you're out of the doghouse now. Here's what we're going to do for you. Because you did say you apologized and nobody else is giving guaranteed contracts, which there hasn't been one since. There was no harm, no foul. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to help you out, though. Because the game is to create and keep you solvent. That's why people love the NFL. Because every single year you get an opportunity that your team might be a winner or might go to the playoffs. Now, why is it that Shadour Sanders slid to the 5th round, but the Cleveland Browns' entire brass, the whole front office went out to Colorado?
Everybody.
The whole front office.
More than once.
Why would you do that if on your draft board he was a 5th round pick? Name me another 5th round pick that had the owner, the general manager, and all the front office executives going out to eat with you. Doesn't happen.
On 4 different occasions.
Don't happen.
The entire front office.
They already knew that is what it was. The league already mandated. Shadour Sanders will fall in the draft. Nobody is going to take Shadour Sanders except for the Cleveland Browns. And because the Cleveland Browns have apologized for Deshaun Watson, they have Deshaun Watson's contract what? It's guaranteed. They can't move away from it. Now you have salary cap implications. You can't cut him. You can't move him. But what you can do is, if you find a quarterback that has slipped and is not guaranteed 1st round money, maybe a 5th round pick or 2. And now it don't matter if you got Deshaun Watson on your roster, does it? No, because you got your franchise quarterback at a discount in the 5th round. Now, how convenient is that? Doesn't that seem like so very convenient? It's 2 birds with one stone. Shedeur is we showed you that this is how we gonna move and we decide how it's gonna go down. And the Browns and the NFL came to an agreement, and all the other owners, that we will not be moving outside of the council and giving these contracts because we are in lockstep. So you killed 2 birds with one stone. You got Shedeur, you got your future quarterback. He's humbled. He got to toe the line, and you got out of the Deshaun Watson deal, and we not giving out no new contracts. So it works for everybody. Now people say, G. Bush, that's a one hell of a conspiracy theory, but it would be funny if it wasn't that true. Because Mike Florio broke the story. Mike Florio, he broke the story to Collusion. So if you telling me they can collude on contracts, why don't you think they can collude on where people go in the draft?
Of course we know they can collude. Colin Kaepernick wasn't a bad quarterback, but he never played again in the NFL.
And
He's still better than half the quarterbacks in the NFL now.
And won his lawsuit.
Yes.
And won.
But never played another down in the NFL, but they don't collude.
No, they don't. The NFL, you ask yourself this: why is it? And this is a good thought process because they haven't come out with it now. The reason why the NFL is the NFL and the NBA, even though ratings are down, you notice that people in the NBA, the buses have sold the Lakers. The Celtics, which is a blue blood, they sold their team. Mark Cuban, one of the brightest business people, and he got out of the game. He said,
that man a bunch of times, but it's too expensive.
You're paying people $300 million. Like you're paying guys in the escalating prices of it. It gets to a point where if you're not rich outside of the sport, which means you don't have other assets, like you have businesses, lands, you're in mineral resources, you got to pay payroll, and you paying guys $40, $50, $60 million a year. And you ask yourself, why is the NFL making money hand over fist? Well, when it's structured the way it is and contracts aren't guaranteed and they can cut you
whenever they
want to and say, and go get some new cheap labor in the draft and have control over for 7 years. That is why the NFL is the billion-dollar entity. That is why it is unmatched, unrivaled, because they are pouring monies in the coffer because of the way it is structured.
And with the TV deal, they make enough money off the TV deals to pay their salaries.
Just
alone. We're not talking stadium rights. We're not talking concessions, parking, and everything else that comes with owning a team. The money in the NFL is ridiculous. And people say, yeah, but you got 53 people on the roster. Yeah, but you got 80,000 seats in the stands.
And keep it on and throw this in. You know, look, how much is Jerry getting for every other video? If it's a college kickoff game, guess where it's at? If it's if it's a huge game and it's a bowl game, where it's at?
Jerry's World.
Bro, Jimmy Haslam,
concerts.
Where Jimmy Haslam looked at Jerry and was like, hold on now. Let me see if I can get some of this. You know, they went to the state of Ohio and the governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, they gave Jimmy Haslam. Now, Jimmy Haslam is a billionaire, super billionaire. They gave this man $600 million and taxed. Bro, you can't. I'm from Cleveland, bro. You know what $600 million can do for a youth program, roads, infrastructure, revitalizing the city.
It's always on the taxpayer, but we ain't never got no money. We always broke. We can't give y'all no money, but this rich man over here needs $600 million.
What you mean, veterans benefits? Oh no, we can't. We got to cut that. How you gonna cut Veterans Affairs to call veterans crisis hotlines for veterans who need to talk to somebody in the moment that they having issues mentally, physically, emotionally? You cut that?
No, we need this stadium.
That's your therapy.
We need you to show up and pay your $200 for this ticket, and this $50 for parking, and these $20 for these hot dogs.
And you know what? And it's crazy because I get it. I always tell people like this. When you talk like this, you gotta come to the conclusion. Everybody ain't gonna like that. I went viral for the Damar Hamlin thing. I didn't even think nothing of it. And I said, it was crazy to me how we were sitting there and we was talking about them postponing the game and should they have postponed it. And I'm like, bro, this is wild, bro. Somebody died on the field and people don't even care like that. And I never met Damar Hamlin, never, I wasn't saying nothing to go out there and just to be violent. It just happened that people saw it and it resonated. But the thing that always got me is the NFL is great because it's a catch-22. in this country, football has become sort of a silent religion. It is inbred in your DNA. Even if they do things wrong, like with CTE and concussions and collusion, football is intrinsically American. It is the American story.
It is not what baseball once was.
Yes, it is.
It's better.
That's why everybody, anytime Remember the Titans come on, you watch it. Yes. It's Denzel. It's because that's the story. Football is almost a life story, and so even if they do crazy fraudulent stuff sometimes, which you call out when you can, it's still a sport that resonates with every single American. And sometimes some of the stories that are elevated and some of the stories are forgotten are lost in that emotion of loving football so much.
Right. Because just like when the Kaepernick thing happened, everybody said, we're boycotting football. And I was right there like, you're not stop watching football, dog. That's not going to happen. Football is entrenched in what we are in the American DNA. Baseball used to be the American sport. America was humbled as apple pie in baseball. That is not us anymore.
No.
We like fights. That means we like football.
Somebody, it's crazy. I was reading, I was going through on some YouTube shorts the other day, and you just scrolling, and somebody said, the reason, we are what we are is this goes back to the Roman Colosseum. When people figured out that when people were in power, the upper class, the bourgeoisie, the politicians, when they figured out that if we give them a beautiful distraction, well, we can do a lot of things where they ain't even paying no attention. So yeah, in Roman times, disease was rampant, overtaxation, people was running around doing, violence was there. There was, the liberties of the people were being violated by the kings and by the councils. But they realized that even though those things were happening in their faces, if they gave them the gladiators, if they gave them the gladiatorial arena, that would appease that most primal, that primal thirst for battle, for camaraderie, for violence, for physicality. And so they realized, hey, listen, hey, we going through a famine. Hey, listen, I know you ain't got no food, but go ahead and watch these gladiators fighting to the death. Right?
Watch these people kill each other. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, right. So that's why when we start talking, you think about the social justices, right? You start talking about social justice, and people talk about Kaepernick, and you talk about everybody when they were, people were kneeling and different things like that. The NFL was like, how do we? Because the movement got big. I mean, you look at that when George Floyd happened, you had Kaepernick. It pointed to exactly what Kaepernick was talking about, and it was almost the perfect storm and perfect timing.
It was back to back, and it was unrivaled. It was unmentioned, and it was a beautiful thing. But we knew everybody wasn't going to hold true because you need that one day of release, that one day to watch people beat each other up without cause.
And look, they tell you, that's why when I do sports talk radio, they say, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about politics, because people are tuning in for the release from life. We don't want to learn about more life. And what they gave you is, I thought it was very ironic, because the NFL did something that was very pivotal. The tides were turning. They started to even have some ratings that were down. We was in the middle of the pandemic. People was, very depressed. It was crazy. You know what they did? They said, listen, let me call the big homie up. Let me call Jay-Z up. Roger Goodell made that call to Jay-Z. He said, listen, I need some help.
I need your people.
How we turn this? How we move this thing along? Because it's cutting into some of our momentum. And he told him, they put him in the head of the halftime show, and he said, and what you need to do is you need to lean into it. You don't need AC/DC or Metallica. You keep bringing no. You bring the Beyonce's and the Ushers and the Kendrick Lamars, because the entertainment factor that resonates with the community. So when you see those people on those stages at the Super Bowl, it does make you feel like, oh, we are inclusive. Look at this. This is Kendrick Lamar rapping like some of the most political charged rap lyrics there is. And he's doing that on the biggest stage in the world. And guess what? Roger Goodell is like this. I like this song.
Rubbing his hands together.
And that put water on everything. And then it came out, and so they signed it. They messed around and gave Kaepernick the money for the collusion. They said, you keep it moving or whatever, we'll pay you off. And now it's almost, if you look back at it, the league, you won't have to think about how hard or how long ago the kneeling stuff was. It seems like it just never happened.
It is just a memory now. It's distant, and it's not but 4 years, 5 years ago.
No,
6 years ago, and now nobody even remembers. You bring up Kaepernick, it's like you starting a fight.
Like Kaepernick, who's that? Like
who is that?
Who is like Colin Kaepernick? I don't know who. Listen, I know who. That's crazy. I know who Shadour Sanders is. I know who. We don't Colin Kaepernick, but that is the strength and the savviness of the NFL. The NFL plays it at a different pace. They're not baseball. Baseball kind of got ruined with the steroid era, and people that turn a bad taste in their mouth. Then you take a look at the NBA. The NBA came around, and the social justice movement in the NBA kind of stalled because people perceived that NBA players had too much power. They had, so you're not playing today because you can tell people we're not playing? Oh, you make that much money, and you're gonna tell people when they're gonna get traded? And y'all get to speak out against social injustice is too much. It's too much for me to say. So the NFL has been a big beneficiary of it. And look, I'm a hypocrite. I mean, I don't want to call myself a hypocrite, but I got a very complicated past with football. Football has given me everything, life lessons. It's given me some of the best relationships that I have. It's given me the ability to be able to persevere through certain things. It's also given me 17 surgeries, neck pain, back pain, multiple surgeries. And it also has put me in a place where I see things behind the curtains, because I am in an industry that really kills your fandom, because you start to see the smoke and mirrors behind the scenes, and you're like, man, I didn't get in it for this. But so football is a very complicated, beautiful idea, so to speak.
Yeah, but you are one of the very few, because when Shedeur first came to Cleveland, I went searching through the media of Cleveland to see who do I need to watch. And I was looking for people that looked like me. And I didn't find but 3 of y'all. And I was like, okay, them my people. That's but you laughing, but it's true. Nobody can tell the story of us but us. And like you said yesterday, representation matters.
It does.
And when, just like your people in Cleveland, your media brothers and sisters, Mary Kay, Tony Grossi, Jay, I wanted you to punch Jay in the face the other day, dog. I really did. While you was sitting on the couch and he was sitting up there trying to say Shedeur didn't know the playbook, and I was like, come on, just go on.
Jason,
one time.
So say shout out to Jason Lloyd, man. We actually, this is so funny, is I know each and every one of these people on a personal level, right? All of them, from Mary Kay to Tony Grossi. I've been in this industry since 2010. And I started off doing shows myself. I woke up one day and I was unemployed, and I was looking at this guy on TV, Bruce Drennan, who did a show a long time. And somebody had asked him how it was he got into the game. and he gave him Ohio Media School. And so basically from there, I took it, went to media. I had already graduated college. I had a regular job. I worked there, and then I ended up interning at ESPN Cleveland. So I worked there. Then I ended up working at 92.3 The Fan. So I worked there. I've had Mary Kay on my show numerous thousands of times, Jason Lloyd, all of them. And I'll say this, I have a relationship with all of them, but just because you have a relationship with somebody does not mean you can't vehemently disagree. And sometimes I believe that there are massive blind spots sometimes that people don't really understand or can see because of the fact that they have not walked in the same shoes and been in the same circles and lived it the way you have lived it. And so I feel like my point and what my I guess obligation is to speak from a perspective that people aren't forced to see. Somebody always told me, like when you're a black man in America, right? There ain't no hiding. It's evident. If you are a black man in America, you have to learn to walk in both fields. You got to learn to walk in the black community. You got to learn to walk in corporate America. You got to learn to walk in your neighborhoods, in the white community. You got to learn to be able to seamlessly move throughout each of those organizations and those groups of people in order for you to be successful. But it's not necessarily the same on the other end. You can be a person that comes up and lives in an affluent neighborhood. You can choose what grocery stores you go to. You can choose that you only got to see anybody you want to. You could choose, I'm gonna be here today. I ain't got to deal with nobody. That's not the same. And where we, even if I do make it as a black man and I live in a very nice neighborhood, you still got to adhere to the code. You still got to be able to talk to the people because you might be the only one. And
I am the only one.
And when you are in the pressure and the unwritten stress of being the only one is something that a lot of people don't know.
There are 110 houses in my subdivision. Only black family in the entire subdivision. And if you know how subdivisions are structured, you have the apartments in the front.
Mm-hmm.
You have the garden homes behind that. And you have the first starter home kit behind in that next section. And then the homes build up and further back you go in the subdivision.
You got to have
I'm on the last street in the subdivision.
Oh, see, you got a hidden tunnel. This like Mario Brothers. You got to warp zone to get to where you at. Yo, roll line 7 different ways. You be like, how did I end up in this little cove back here?
And you got to be very careful. I got 2 police officers on my street and a sheriff.
See, you don't. So, and the thing is, a lot of times, and what I try to do is explain to people. Me telling my story of me coming from a vantage point of being a person who's a black person who's played the game, my dad went to HBCU, but I went to Ohio University where the black population is less than 10%. So I've been there before. I went to an inner city school, right? But my brother went to a Catholic school where, there was less than 5% that were African American. So I've had the opportunity to grow up in a bunch of different areas and around a bunch of different people, which gives me a pretty cool, unique way of looking at life at sometimes. And I always tell people, don't be fearful or why would you be caught off guard or why would you take anything personally if I'm just sharing with you and telling with you the perspective of the black community? You shouldn't take that as offensive. You should take that as information. If I went to China or I went to Japan or I went to South Africa or I went to the Middle East, I would take those, I would adhere to the customs. I would want to seek people out and understand how you look at certain things. I would want to take some of their cultures and customs and see how it matches up with mine and be a thinker and be a person that is always willing to learn and being open to learn. But sometimes I feel like in the media, you know, everybody is so scared of race and they run from it. And it's just like, why do you have a guilty conscience about race when it shouldn't apply to you, right? You shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't even be upset about it, right? You good, right?
It shouldn't affect you, right? If it's not a big thing. But just like in your sector in Cleveland, you have that section of reporters and people that report on the Cleveland Browns. And right now, Shedeur is the topic. I don't care what are you talking about. Shedeur is the topic. But you have that section of reporters that don't want to see him be that. He came in the door and they were looking for him to fail.
Mm-hmm.
There was no other option. He's not it. We got 3 other people, and if they don't work, we got a first round pick next year. And if they looking at a first round pick for next year, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry need to be fired. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I've told them, I've been very clear on this point. I'm not gonna. This is just my opinion. I'm not gonna sit by and play they play. It's funny because you see it coming from a mile away. I'm not gonna play the game of, well, we're not gonna play him this year because he's not ready, and we don't want to stun his growth. But yet and still, you running the shot clock out so that now even if he gets into the game and plays well, it's not enough sample size. If he gets into the game at the end of the year and the Browns are terrible, well, guess what? What if the offensive line ain't intact? What if Jerry Jeudy ain't playing? What if your top running backs ain't around? Matter of fact, at the end of the season, you might be straight up tanking.
At the end of the season, all of your starters are not going to care
at all. It's not even the same. So now when he plays, you got a half a roster and guys looking for vacation. So now you can say, well, I don't think the Browns can pass on said generational quarterback next year. I can't pass on that because we didn't get what we needed from Shedeur, and if they was great, they would have been able to take the lead early on. I said, no. By the way, when people be saying that, I don't like that because they're talking about passing on a generational quarterback. I don't like when people talk in vague terms.
Talking about that quarterback that hasn't played but 2 games in 3 years, hasn't started, did nothing in college football yet.
0. Oh, okay. Yeah. That guy, 2 games. And by the way, I love the fact that and you say their name, who you want. If you think somebody is so good, because here's the thing. If you're watching film, if you're preparing and you're well informed, you know who's good and not, because you can go back to your film study and say, I saw him play all these games. I done seen Shadour Sanders play every single game, all of them. It snaps, all of them, all 22 coaches film. So I know what he did. If I'm going to say there's a guy next year that's better than him, should I not have to watch the film? Should I have to not know instead of waiting till somebody tell me who? But that comes with the thought process that people they do the anybody but him. That's pretty much what you're saying. Anybody but him. Because when you tell them to say, why do you think Kenny Pickett deserved to play? They can't give you no throws, no plays, no touchdowns. They didn't watch no film. They didn't get. He can't. I just think he's better in Kevin Stefanski's offense. What is Kevin Stefanski's offense? What do they run? What's the plays called? What's the concepts on the runs, on reads? What is that? They have nothing. It's generalities. So sometimes you got to drill. You got to make them say it. What are you saying? And the part that you said, and I'll get to this. I'm just a little long-winded.
No, take your time. We out all day. We ain't got no cut time. We do what we want to do.
The thought process that you're going to say that a person don't know the playbook or know his plays is a trope as old as the NFL. The trope that if you can't explain it away, if you're playing well, if you're balling, and you can't say I can't throw the football because we seen it on film, what's the next thing that you can say? You can't say this to the intangibles.
but I hate to interrupt you, right?
No, go ahead.
But the craziest part about this one, when all of them are regurgitating each other, are repeating each other by saying he doesn't know the playbook, he doesn't know the terminology. And I ask everybody, who did Kevin Stefanski model his playbook behind?
Guess what? So you go back to the Gary Kubiak playbook. You go back to the fact that Pat Shurmur has been out there with him for 2 years. Pat Shurmur has been on record saying
he knows the playbook.
He's one of the most smartest, intelligent guys that he's come around. He is an NFL coordinator. He was a head coach twice in this league. So my thing is, who told you he didn't know the plays? Did the coach tell you? Did Tommy Rees tell you? Did the quarterback coach tell you? Were you at practice and you saw him break the huddle and they came out and he called the wrong play, and the coach, because that's what happens when you call the wrong play. They call it direct. They get out there, they want to see you make certain checks, they want to see you get the verbiage, and if you do it wrong, they stop the play before it starts. They do the coaching on the fly, whether it's the offensive lineman doing the wrong assignment, receivers, and if it's definitely in the quarterback, they're going to stop that play and make sure that they understand what they're supposed to be doing. Did you see that happen? If that didn't happen, this is pure conjecture. Head canon, we used to call it, right? Like, listen, I know I didn't write the book, but in your head, you said he doesn't know the plays because that's the easiest thing that you could point to that people can't really kind of refute. I mean, who told you that? But when you say that with a person who's played the game for 20 years, been around the game for 30 years, you know, the people, the guys that I talk to, and trust me, I go back and talk to them. If I watch something on film, I'll go to Joe Thomas. Hey, Joe, what you think about that? If I see something on film, I say, man, I'm kind of confused on that. I go to Bernie. I'll go to, you know, Josh McDaniels went to my high school. He a longtime coach with the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. I do my due diligence, and I go and make sure, because the foundation of football is that important to me, because it comes back down to the film work and the technique and what football is on that between the white lines. So that's the basis of it.
But my thing is, if he doesn't know the plays, why is his completion percentage, his touchdown to interception ratio, everything that he has done better than the other three quarterbacks that he's playing against? No matter if it's first team, second team, third team, or fourth, they're still running the same plays.
They're not getting doors from Jupiter.
Right. If he doesn't know the playbook, somebody needs to switch playbooks and play on Shedeur's playbook, because his was working better than yours. It's simple math. This is an eye test. We see it. Football is an eye test. You can see who's better than who most of the time, because not knowing the plays can be corrected. Not knowing what to call out, they can tell you in these headphones in your helmet during the game. You can put a wristband on during the game. How many quarterbacks in the NFL you see flip that wrist up while the coach is calling the play in their ear?
Say that.
But he doesn't need to 100% know the play. But is he making the right play when the ball is in his hand? Is he making the right pass? Is it getting out fast enough? Is it not getting batted down? Is it not getting intercepted? Is it incomplete? All of those are no.
OG. Hey, man, right there, like, listen, you was cooking, because I didn't, you know how you say, somebody say something, I wish I would have thought about that. Thank you for bringing that part up. When they call in the plays, the coordinator or the head coach is calling them into his helmet and his headset on the field. Then he is repeating it in the huddle. What are you talking about? He don't know the play. What are you talking about?
He cannot know the play.
What are you talking about?
he don't know the protection. He knows how to slide people left and right. He can see where the rush is coming from. He can see who's the mic.
It's the Cupid shuffle. We all, black people, all know how to slide. The electric slide, the Cupid, it's easy. We know how to do.
Put your boots on the ground. Boots on
the ground. Shout out to them, boy. Like I'm telling you, that I didn't even think about that part out loud. The fact that, listen, they're calling it in a huddle and the coach is telling them off the sheet anyway. What are we talking about? Like, you think he's just making the plays up off the top of his head?
And you get the option to get another cheat by putting the wristband on with the plays and the calls on it. You can see it visually if you don't remember it. I do that with my son's flag football in 7-on-7 team.
Everybody has a wristband.
Everybody
got it. It's just, and so I think too, you know, as I think the real no. I think sometimes it'd be a feeble attempt to continue on with it. And then plus I think so too is I think Shadour Sanders is a product of the clip machine, right? So you got one or two ways that you can go about it. You can either say you support Shedeur and be team Shedeur, or you can go on the opposite side. Now, I find that when you are more negative or you're against something, you seem to be, you get a couple more clicks, right? Because it's more controversial, it's more explosive. So you got one or two ways you're gonna do it. Either you're gonna like it or you're gonna be against it. And I just find that when you got a person like Shedeur, who people it sticks in their craw a little bit, like, why are you so popular? I never understood that rationale when you ask that. What do you mean, why are you so popular? Like, and I think he does a very good job of deflecting the questions. You could tell he's very poised. You could tell he's been in front of the camera a lot.
The man doesn't fold under pressure
at all.
His entire career, football, microphone, the stage, in front of the cameras, without the guy does not fold under pressure. And he doesn't put his teammates in pressure situations and fire on them where everybody can see at all. If they got a problem, you don't know it. Not with him.
It's crazy because he showed Dylan Gabriel love. He talks about how he went out of the way with Joe Flacco and how it's, you know, he soaks up game from him and knowledge from him and Kenny Pickett because they played the game. He talks about the fact that, you know, he gives a props to a lot of his teammates and different things like that. Even when they ask him about not getting reps, he's like, man, listen, I'm just out here to learn. I could just sit back and learn and do my thing. When they talk about the off-season program, he's been putting on tape. Look, I'm out here throwing in the rain in Florida. I'm back in Texas with full gear on. I'm checking my pops, but I'm still out here working, doing my thing. He's showing you like, yo, this is what I do, and trying to show you in real time that, you know, this is the me that I'm presenting. And I think sometimes also in a bigger overarching theme, and this is something that I've talked about before, for a lot of people that's in traditional media, it's a little uncomfortable because the game is changing. Coming out of the player empowerment era with the George Floyd and a lot of these other things, and then when COVID hit, the industry shifted. It went to the internet. No longer was it your establishment radio, establishment TV, establishment shows, your ESPNs, your Fox Sports. Now you had players for the first time linking up with other players, collaborating on projects. You had first thing, Brandon Marshall and his crew, first of all. Then, you know, you get the all of the smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Then you started to get more and more players who everybody was getting, you know, their own podcast. So now they like, instead of us going to you and letting them tell our story, let's collaborate and link together in a safe space where we can tell our own stories. And so what started to happen is that limited the access to players and inside information. So now, instead of somebody coming to you and I got a source on this, I got a source on this, that well is drying up. And now you have to compete for views, because now you got to compete with players. You got to compete with podcasters. They got Big Snacks and G Bush out here. They doing anything, independent content, independent media. And so now on this digital landscape, you got traditional people that now have to compete here, which is they're a little bit of a fish out of water. So I think a lot of times also it comes to a point where individuals are a little bit caught in the transition of the dominant ESPN, Sports Center, journalism, and as a whole, now that's kind of shifted into where we are today. And I think they're just sometimes trying to find their footing.
But what makes Shedeur is, and before we go there, I wish T.O. was available and playing in this era, because T.O. would have been phenomenal. You think T.O. would have been one of the biggest superstars in football in the social media era? Nobody would have been able to touch T.O. Him and Chad Johnson would have eaten very well in this era.
Listen, OG, you bring up something, and this is what, man, this all kind of fit together. Where I started to have people say, G Bush, it seems like you go at your own people so much. You go at the media so much. I say, first of all, you got to think, I didn't start off in the media. I started off as a player. I started off as a person who watched the game, studied the game, and then I got into media and journalism afterwards. So when people say, oh, I didn't never consider myself after a while to be even in the media. But the thing that really got me and it really fired me up, and it was the first strike I had against media, and I really started to see how the game is worked behind the scenes, is when the voters voted and NFL writers voted, and they said that Terrell Owens was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I was done. At that point in time, I said, I'm going after everybody. I don't like pencil pushers. I don't like people that, listen, Terrell Owens, statistically, there's one better receiver than him ever, and that's Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice?
Only. You go back and look at his stats, his yards, his touchdowns, it's unmatched. They told you, we have the power to write your history, your narrative, by saying, because we don't like how you interacted with us, we're not going to vote for you. I said, I don't get this. And I didn't get this. And I still stand by this. Can a civilian go into NASA and give their opinion about a rocket ship?
Yeah. If they take it, they stupid.
Thank you. NASA will say, listen, would you get this man? They said, what are your qualifications for talking about rockets? Just because you like rockets don't mean that you know the inner workings and the intimate workings of a rocket ship.
That is why I hate that they let writers vote for the Hall of Fame, because it's all about, if I like you, yes, you're good. But if you have done something to me or made me mad in the past 4 years before you retired, oh, you gotta wait a while. You gotta wait.
Man, listen. Look, if you ain't, bro, you know how, if you ain't watched no film, you ain't played no downs, you ain't never went through no 2-a-days, you can't bench 135. You don't know what it feel like to have a concussion. How are you able to write your opinion on one of the greatest receivers to ever play the game? And at that point in my mind, I said, oh no, I will never be a part of that, because what they're doing is almost like playing God. Like, it's like, we didn't see Terrell Owens be great. We tell you who's great. We write who's great. And if you step out of line or what we talking about, we're not gonna let you get the accolades you deserve. And I always tell people, and it might rub people the wrong way, but who cares? I tell writers, I tell media members, I tell myself this: you are a guest. You are a guest in the house of the pantheon of the NFL and sports in general. I am able to feed my family very well off commenting on the sweat and the performance and the book of business and the book of just accolades these people put out every single day. I'm a guest. When I pass, I'm just a regular dude who talked about sports. But when these dudes pass, or when we talk about these organizations, the organizations and establishments last forever, right? So you get a 5 to 10 year window or 20 year, whatever you got of capitalizing off that. You are a guest and you should treat it as you're a guest. So the idea that you are somehow bigger than the sport is wild to me, and how you let people who have not been invested at the same level as one of these athletes like Terrell Owens is ridiculous to me. It just frankly is.
And that's why they hate Deion, which led to the hatred of Shedeur. Deion, coming into college football, has done what a lot of coaches in their coaching career probably have never done and probably will never do. Deion has been changing the course of college football since he's been in college football, and they hate him for it. Last year, Coach Prime has done something no other college coach has done since they've been playing on TV. Every freaking last one of their games last season was televised on major ESPN, Fox, ABC, CBS. One of those carried those games every doggone week. No others, no blue blood, nobody in college football has done that. And they hate it because the question is, he just got here. He ain't did nothing. He ain't even won a bowl game yet.
You ain't pay your dues. You didn't go through you didn't go through the traditional rankings. You didn't go through, you didn't have to start off as a coordinator at Austin P.
You didn't
then work your way up to a position coach. Then work your way up 5 more years as a tight end coach at Delaware State. And then you get 5 or 6 more years where you become a receivers coach. They won't put you at the defensive back coach because that guy been here, but you got Deion Sanders, the greatest living cornerback ever, but he can't be no DB coach. They don't like it because we've already established that, look, we have 2 different avenues. The avenue is this. Your avenue is, if you didn't play, your avenue leads to head coaching ability. You could start off as a film guy and all end up as a coordinator all the way to the top. But you telling me that a person that's coached, that's done what he needs to do, and still can't get another job, still can't get a coordinator job, he the best at his position, he a Hall of Famer, he can't get that off? No, because the system says this is not set aside for you. This is a leadership position. This is a leadership position, and you gotta, we'll give you, and I'll tell you this. Sometimes you fight against this because, they'll give you a label. I always hate when people say, you know what, you're a really good speaker. You have a gift of the gab. You're a really good talker. You really, you really have a lot of emotion.
You enunciate very, very well. You are very articulate with your words.
And then you sit there and say, well, does that mean I can't be analytical? Does that mean that I can't be a leader? That I can't be structured? That I can't have those things that are put people what you describe at a leadership position? And when you look at Coach Prime, I've fought against this my whole career, but I also take into consideration, be who you gonna be, and whoever rock with you gonna rock with you. Coach Prime talk like we talk. Coach Prime talks in slangs. He uses metaphors. He emotes. He does give you an impassionate speech. He does embrace hip hop. He embraces culture. He embraces youth. He embraces something to change the flash. See, people, I love Flash, right?
Love it.
It's listen, that's in it.
It's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA. Go back and go to Africa. They call them the dandies. In the Congo, they dress in nothing. They're in poverty, but they got suits tailored up Well, you know, they got suits every single day. They listen, it's the colors, it's the jewelry, and you know what? Prime was the first person to embrace that. And he said, just because I got that shine on, don't get it twisted. He is one of the most disciplinary coaches there are. Go watch them when well-off media is putting that out there. Prime, tell him, I want no earrings. I need you to cover that up. Put them cell phones away. If I catch you ain't going to class, you're done. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear nobody say they got hands on nobody. Nothing. Don't come in here and talk about, I want the NIL bag. You got to show us first. He's right. If you think Saban and Belichick is like that, Coach Prime is right there. He has
all day, every day.
So, you know, a lot of people get it misconstrued, but then you gotta dig deep and go further to actually understand it.
Right. You have to see the forest for the trees. You know, you got to go deep in the woods to understand what's in there, to see it. Mm-hmm. And it rubbed off on Shedeur in such a way that the NFL did what they did, and then he got to Cleveland, and the Cleveland media did what they did. But like I said, without representation, Shadour Sanders, as y'all know what happened in Cleveland with that big explosion in that apartment complex in the projects, and Shadour Sanders was one of few to show up that is a superstar that's not from there. That's
At
not
all.
His state.
Mm-mm.
That's not his city.
Mm-mm.
That's not his hood.
Mm-mm.
You got veterans that's been there for years that didn't show up. But Shedeur wasn't in town when it happened. He was out the state working out, visiting his pops, getting ready to come back to the city.
Pulled up.
But he pulled up. But G. Bush said something yesterday during his live stream. Got your boy in the fields, you know. I'm old now, so I get emotional sometimes. Y'all gonna learn that. The older you get, you'll feel that thing swell up in your chest, and you'll be like, "Where did it come from?"
It happened to me on the. I said, "Dang, I didn't even know it was gonna come. I didn't be on nose be like that. It was like you get a little older."
Yeah, and, people say you get sensitive, but you feel it.
Right.
So G. Bush said something yesterday that got me in my feels. Y'all check
that kid, he just threw that toss too. That kid that he threw that little pass too. That means something, man. Because at that point, he didn't realize that he was poor, black, with the statistics against him in the ghetto. For that moment, he was just chilling, having fun, and a player who he thought would not give him no time of day pulled up to play football with him. The stuff that normal kids get to do every single day. For once, he got to be a kid just playing football. I respect that. I respect that at the highest levels. But what he did means more than people will ever know. Yeah.
That is true. Shedeur did something that those people will never forget. Those kids will be forever. That is ingrained in their memory for the rest of. I met Michael Singletary when I was playing linebacker in high school. Took a picture with him, got his autograph, and it's hanging up in my room, my bedroom. And girl, my wife like, why we keep it? That's the man.
Why you keep? Wait a minute, 2 houses. You keep bringing that old thing with. Like, listen, that's staying.
Hey, that I don't care what you do. That's go wherever I go. That go. And Shedeur gave them that. I mean, he gave them. He didn't call nobody and said, "News people, y'all show up."
Nope.
That's the Sanders brand. That's how he was raised. That is not somebody looking for clout. People say he clout chase. How? He's rich. He's famous. The organization that he works for doesn't have a bigger fan base or a bigger social media following than him. That one player is bigger on a lot of platforms than the organization he plays for. Only thing they can provide for him is a place to work and a check. Everything else he can do for himself.
He's already good. I
got something I need to show you, because I did this because I wanted to discuss this with you, because I knew we was having this conversation today. I got a comment on that video from yesterday. I'm going to put it up on screen because I want y'all to see it. It is freaking ridiculous. This right here from MacB. The Cleveland Browns run a foundation committed to supporting their community. So when Shedeur orchestrates an event like this, it's clear that he's missing the mark. It's just not tone deaf. It risks making members of the Brown organization look foolish while he basks in self-styled moments of glory. The NFL message is simple. No one is above the brand. Really? That's what you got out of what he did yesterday, the other day, for those families in that community. Nobody is bigger than the brand. That was for him. He don't need none of that. How can you even fix your face to write that comment?
Well, I've said this, and so sometimes you have to do this, and I don't take any. It don't make me happy that you got to come off this way, but you do. Certain people don't have a right to speak on the community. Certain people's opinion on the community is invalid, just by default. That's your opinion, but let me tell you something. Unless you go into those same projects, unless you go into the jails and prisons, unless you going to see people, I have actually seen kids. One of the most striking things I've ever had is going to, and they reach out to me and going to a facility and talking to a 16-year-old kid that's getting shifted to federal penitentiary because he was convicted of unaliving his mother's boyfriend who was beating him and her. This kid came to me after I spoke to in the correctional facility, and he said, "I really respect your story, and you just really inspired me." He said, "But how do you have any advice for me on what I should do and how to act in jail, because I got 20 years and I'm only 16. That thing there broke me. It changed my life about how I see certain things. And when we talk about things of the community, sometimes I have a problem that we allow other people to speak on what we do in the community when they should not have a right or word to say. And most of the times it happens because we refuse to point things out like that. We refuse to band together and say, under no circumstances, sir, whoever you are, you don't have an opinion. I'm sorry about it. Mm-hmm. And every time you come with that same energy, we're gonna come with the same energy. You don't matter about when it comes to this. Unless you're not going to the community, unless you are matching the actions, unless you are donating, unless you are pulling up, unless you are going to talk to these at-risk youth, and unless you are affected and you see people that is affected and been affected and understand that, well, you can have that comment. But here's the thing about being tone deaf. Sometimes you ain't tone deaf. Sometimes we just don't care what you think. Exactly. And you got to move that way and let people know under no circumstances will you become made comfortable while you say said comments. Sometimes we make it very comfortable for people to have opinions. I always say to myself, I stay, when it comes to other communities and different things like that, mm-hmm. I don't have no say in it because I'm not there. How am I going to tell you that you living in it and breathing in it People talk about all the time. I don't really speak about the things that happen in the Middle East. You know why? I ain't there. I don't know. I ain't affected by it. So, you know, I stay on I say prayers, God bless, and I wish everybody is good. But
stay out their way.
And I stay out the mix. So sometimes people just got to learn to stay out the mix and continue to support and continue to tell your story and continue to say it as loud and as proud as you can, so that people like that, you know, they just look at it and they feel like, oh, well, you're risking. Well, no, sir, no, we don't rock with you.
Right. And I found it. Oh, and this, best believe they ate him up in the comment section. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they got him out. They got him together.
Yeah, he might still be holding himself right about now. They killing him down there. But it's funny to me that people can do and say all the things about what he shouldn't be doing. Even Mary Kate said, why should he be there? He shouldn't be doing that. He should be practicing and learning the playbook. Lady, if you don't sit your little, please sit down, because this is not your issue.
Yeah, it's not. That's not a, you know, when you talk about being tone deaf, I take offense to, and I have no choice but to feel a certain type way, because you're speaking on things sometimes, and not just, you know, her comments or whatever the comments may be wherever they are. I got a problem where you're dealing with a place where somebody died.
Kids are still in the hospital.
Like when you talk about being tone deaf, a lower income housing project where people already don't have nothing caught on fire. A man died going in trying to save people. And for the fact that you're talking about football or anything that has to do with snaps, winning the quarterback competition or whatever, and that's just going for anybody. It's going for anybody, because I don't want to get it misconstrued that I got the time and energy to be talking to people one by one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to everybody. If that's your mindset, you are completely out of touch with reality and life and the plight of certain people. If anything, you should be endorsing that. If anything, you should be highlighting that for the humanitarian effort to say, bro, somebody just died. People don't have houses. Why is it that we can have floods and it's $1 million houses in Florida and they're millionaires, and we talk about, hey, we need to donate. We need to donate. We need to get water. We need to get this. We need to get that. But this happened. The attitude is, this is for clout.
And that was the context of my entire stream yesterday. Where is the Cleveland media when it comes to this? I understand that the news station showed up, but where are all these people? Because when he got them 2 tickets,
the numbers was jumping.
We was jumping. We was live for 2 weeks talking about these tickets.
Colin Kaepernick, national. Colin Cowherd, national people, everybody leading. How big is it? Yeah, listen, you could hurt somebody, all that good stuff. Like, it's, to me, I told people I had a problem with it. I've always had the problem with that, because if you're gonna, I just talked about it. Quishon Judkins got in trouble. Part of my job is to go out there and talk about it. And I said, bro, he's out of pocket. Listen, I read the police report. He did X, Y, and Z. This is a bad look. He need to be doing this and all that, right? That's part of my job. I got to cover that. But then 2 days later, the project's burned down. Shedeur come out there and is giving free haircuts, free food, coming out there, not just giving a check, pulling up with young kids in a time of need. And it's just like, the problem I had is, not only did you not cover it, but if you're going to be decent and you don't want to cover it, just don't say nothing funny. Don't throw no shade at the end of it when you're gonna mention it. If you're gonna mention
it's
it,
too late. They're doing that.
you throwing the sword at the end of it. And I said, that's why people are so mad. That's why people, and a lot of it is, oh, well, you can't say anything about Shedeur, or they're gonna, even if I say he threw an incomplete pass, you're gonna be mad. I said, no. You're tone deaf. That means you're not tapped in. The reason that they mad is this. They rock with him. They pulled up over here because they came and then followed and supported him. This is coming off of the fact that they thought that you railroaded, that you dropped him in the draft of the 5th round. They accepted it and said, cool, let's play football. But you kept hitting on the 5th round. You kept talking about what this is. You gonna ask him, do you fault your father? How you going? You must not know where we, listen, do you know where we come from? Listen, my dad worked for 50, 40 years. We didn't had one wife, 3 boys, all college educated. If you ever put a microphone in my face and ask me, do I want to send shots at my father?
Are you crazy?
That's almost, you almost, do you know what, like, you, that's where you get it. Like, being in a media, I got to step back a little bit. Hold on. G. Bush, you're getting too excited. But sometimes they hit home. You're like, what? Man, come on, bro. Like, really? I don't care what you say. You can't pay me to condemn my father. And this dude done put me in a position where I'm already independently rich. I'm a college graduate. I'm able to be going out here helping the community. He's a man of God. He's the best, almost the best sport athlete. He played in the World Series and played in a football game at one time. What are you talking about? He's been successful at every level that he's done. He's continued to persevere. And guess what? That's what it looks like. That's what we want. Our black men.
That's what black success looks like.
That's it.
And they hate it.
But yet and still, we always talk about anytime somebody get in trouble, well, I think it's because of the single parent homes. You don't get up out of here, man. Every time somebody get in trouble, I think it's because, it's the home.
But you know what they were waiting on? Shedeur did all that. Hosted the party, had all the people out, showed all the love. They were waiting on the aftermath. They were waiting to hear when they was out there fighting. It was gunplay. You didn't hear none of that. So we didn't get no more reporting. They was waiting on it, but they did it.
And you know what? And to his credit, Shedeur said, they told me not to go out there today. A lot of people told me, like, don't do that, because a lot of people that are his advisors, they said, bro, we don't want we right by camp. We don't want no smoke. You going to the hood. Like, come on, bro. They know you got the bag. They know you wear jewelry.
That's one of them places.
It's one of them ones. And he said something that I respected. And I did. And I'm unapologetic about the way I feel about my faith. He said, hey, God told me to go do it. And so when he told me to go do it, I knew I was good and I was going to be protected. Sometimes when I go to prisons, Hold
on. See, but what people don't understand about that, if you're not from the streets, you don't understand how the streets operate. I'm one of them ones. I've been out there a long time. I did a lot of bad things. I ain't never going to apologize for them because I ain't hurt nobody. But when you go into certain areas, everybody can't go in the project. Everybody can't go downtown. There's certain areas you got to get permission. You got to get somebody's okay.
Keep talking.
You got to go see that man and get his approval. So you don't leave there without what you came with.
You real talk right now.
In certain areas, when I used to go to LA to see my homeboys, because I got people down there in Watts and on Grape Street and in the other places. Some places we couldn't go. We got to go see the big homie first before we go trouncing over there in this area.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to New Orleans, you can't, once you step out the French Quarter, you out of pocket.
Listen, when you step out the tourist area,
you out of pocket. You gonna get got. If you don't know the people, a certain person, a certain few, you gonna get had.
You gotta know the lay of the land.
Yes,
and you know what? And you know what the crazy part about it is? And it's so true. Like Cecil Shorts and Earl, they did a show and they talked about, and Cecil played in the NFL, played for the Texans, played for the Jaguars. He's from those areas in Cleveland. Earl's from those areas in the streets in Cleveland. So that's like, listen, I'm from Canton. If I wanted to go do something and I want to pull up and do a giveaway, or I'm going to pull up and do something like that, I got to tap in with the people that's out there. Earl, I'm about to go over to your side of town. Where he gonna tell me this is where you need to stay away from. This is woo woo woo. I'm gonna holler at so and so. Another dude, you be good, right? The fact that he put it together in 5 days. Think about that. 5 days. Like, okay, and you know what? They tapped in. Shout out to Mike Hall Jr. He was out there too.
Exactly.
Mike Hall Jr. He was out there too. So, but when you go to those certain places, right? And the thing is, which also touched me was, did nothing happen? And what touched me so much was, even though that's a tough neighborhood, there's also good people in tough neighborhoods.
Correct.
And them kids ain't did nothing wrong. Them kids, he put himself in a position where, hey, yeah, something could happen, or it may be misconstrued with that. But he went out there and it was love.
All love.
It was love. One of the women said, I have never seen, I lived here for years. I've never seen nothing like that. And so,
and speaking of your boy, Cecil, this is what they had to say about it.
With you. I've never seen what Shadour Sanders is doing this early on in a player's career. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, I've never seen a rookie come into the league and before he even played a snap is already in the Garden Valley projects dealing with or throwing a fun fest for people that are struggling after that fire, right? I've never seen him another player go to a KFC and in the city and interact with kids and sing his song with a fan. I've never seen all the things he's doing. As soon as he got drafted, the first week he was here, he's in John Marshall High School or wherever he was. Like, it's a special thing he's doing. That's not normal, right? And what he's doing is he's winning the fans over. He's winning the city of Cleveland over. He's winning the surrounding cities of the surrounding suburbs of Cleveland. He's winning those pants over. And when you do that, when you got them on your side, oh man, we're gonna rock for you. Y'all know that, Spence and Earl. We're gonna rock for you no matter what. When you get back to your community and you're there and you're present and it's genuine, right? It's genuine. And that's what gives me, to me, it's genuine. Because a lot of the times the guys will go after they have a Pro Bowl season or after they made some plays in the game, or you'll see them out there with their jersey on and it's all these Browns people around him. This is genuine. This is him and his crew doing it because he wants to do it. That's a really big deal. And again, this brings hopes to everybody watching.
Yeah, and shout out to Earl the Pearl in the Ultimate 216 podcast. Earl did 2 days of Shedeur. Earl is the only one who followed up back-to-back days and just showed love. And from what I've heard from Earl and you and Cecil, Earl is from that hood. Those are his streets. Cecil, those are his areas. That's his hood. So they have said themselves what Shedeur pulled off and done over there in that area was amazing. Those people love him for that, and hopefully he has created lifelong Browns fans, because we know they're going to be lifelong Shedeur fans. But hopefully what he's created is something that attaches them also to the football team.
Yes.
Because just like that dude said, the Browns have a foundation, but the Browns foundation didn't incorporate with Shedeur's activities. So don't give me what the Browns can do and what he should have done. What he done is what he did and what he should have did and what more people should be doing, because this is not a one-time fix. This is going to take months, maybe a year or better. You got to understand those people lost everything. That was a loss of life. You got 2 kids still in the hospital suffering from 3rd-degree burns who are in ICU right now. Those people lost clothes, food, money, whatever they had. That is a low-income housing. We know they didn't have insurance. They can't go write it all off and get a check from the insurance company next week and we getting back, oh, we solid. We gonna get all this back. No, it don't work like that. When people are struggling day to day, week to week, month to month, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, everything is gone. Your life is upside down. A lot of people will never realize how much turmoil that is. You will never, some people couldn't go to work next day because they had no way to get there. They had no clothes to put on.
It's crazy. You don't even think of it. And that's what I've tried to do with my channel. And what I try to do with my channel, and a lot of times, and I refuse to do it, and I don't care who likes it. My channel about, I tell people when I came up to barbershop, I said it's about sports, music, and culture, and music is what tells the tale of what happens in the culture. It shows you in the lyrics what goes on in the streets, what goes on in the places where they don't report on. You talk about sports. Sports is one of the ways and avenues that you can get out of poverty. One of the ways that you can get out of the hood. One of the ways that you can show and move and do things. So, sometimes the pressure from the outside is to, why don't you just play nice and talk about just this? Let's, do you really have to get into what happens in the outside and, do we have to really talk about this stuff? Or why don't we just talk about the Browns training camp? Why don't we just talk about who's going to be the next backup tackle? And I say, well, listen, no disrespect, but I talk about people. I believe in humans. I believe in people. I don't believe in objects and ideology. I believe in people. And so I'm always going to highlight the struggle of people. I'm always going to talk about the impact that sports has on people inside and outside of the game. And for me, I am so thankful, and I say it all the time. I may not have the biggest channel in the world. I may not have 1 million followers. I may not have some of the, I'm never going, trust me, the stuff I say, I ain't gonna work for the NFL. NFL ain't gonna call me no time soon. They're not calling me. I'm not looking to go to.
Not after you cook them with that conspiracy theory.
They like, listen, he's after Damar Hamlin. I got people calling me from the NFL Players Association. This is real facts. They was not liking that. But I will say this: I am thankful for the loyal people and the like-minded people that respect the real, that respect the unapologetic truth, that support that. I will take 20,000. I'll take 5 or 6 real people over 100,000 fair weather people any day in the week and twice on Sunday, because you can change things. You can make things happen in the world with just a handful of people that is willing to be on the same page and like-minded. So we're going to highlight these stories. The project burned down. I'm going to talk about it. Some people might want me to talk about tight ends or fullbacks, and I'm not going to get to it. And you could catch me during the season after the post-game shows. But as of today, we're highlighting the things in the community that I believe matter, and I think this story is important.
Yeah, it very much is. And that's why us little people, continue to talk about it. Your platform is bigger than mine. And shout out to Earl and all the other people that's doing what they're doing to highlight what has happened in that project and what Shedeur has done to help. Because it's not clout chasing, because he didn't call people to say, hey, come help me out. He brought people that have resources, what people didn't report on, what they didn't say. He brought other people to help them get better. He didn't just bring food and games and football and sports and things of that nature. He brought people that could help them get the resources they needed to get on their feet. And people like that don't come outside for free.
No,
they don't. spending their work hours outside of their office, and it's not benefiting them. They had to be paid to come out there, sit out there in that heat, in that tent, in uncomfortable situations. Because trust me, those people that were there, they weren't comfortable.
Like
they was looking around trying to see what's happening.
They had to pay that premium. He had to pay that premium. What you mean? So okay, so let me get this straight. Let's still finalize the deals. You want us to be at where? Hold on, Garden where? Are you?
Hey, they got them pew pews over there though.
Like you short? Well, we're gonna have to renegotiate on that. That's a whole nother story. We got to send a couple of people out there. So and I'll tell you this. You just said something, man. Look, I feel like when you in this game, you hit me up. You say, "Yo, we let's do some content, bro. Let's do something." I said, "Bet, let's go ahead and do it. You tell me when you want to do it." I believe it's important. I don't care if you had 5 people. I don't care if you had 6 subscribers. I feel it's important that when you talk about important things, you be able to tap in with people and have that conversation. So a lot of times when I first got in the game, a lot of the content I wanted to do, they say, you do your, man, I like you solo. I said, I had to get good doing solos. Nobody want to pull up. They're like, what you talking about today? Oh, no. We ain't gonna do that. So look, when I came into it, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just do it like that. So I always made it a point. Say, man, if people reach out to me and they want to talk or have a conversation, I'm not above having no conversation. I said, so, whoever's watching this, shout out to Big Snacks for reaching out to me. And I want to need all my people, if you on the barbershop watching this right now, go out and subscribe to the Big Snacks. Be subscribed to the podcast. Subscribe and support, and continue to support the content. So show love to each other. Help people out. Have a sense of community, and that goes both ways when you're talking about being on YouTube and things like that. So shout out to you for having me, and we want to make sure people go out and support your channel as well.
Oh, no doubt. I appreciate it, and everybody that's already watching my channel, I'm sure they know who you are. And if you don't know who G Bush is, if you have never been to the barbershop, you need to go over there because on Saturday we get real in the barbershop. We not on UCSS doing on Saturday. You get your haircut up, you get faded up in there. You know what I'm saying? So go over to G Bush channel, subscribe to his channel, make sure you hit that bell so you'll know when G Bush is going live. And me and G Bush not done with this stuff, man. This will not be the first or last time that we get together and do this content.
Yes, sir.
I've been wanting to team up with this man since I watched his second live stream, and I was like, yeah, I got to get with him. That's he my type of fella.
We talk spicy over here, man. It's spicy. Yes. We get to it. And you know what's gonna be so crazy too? I'm excited, and just to throw this out there about the football, I'm excited for them, Shedeur more over, to get an opportunity, because now the whole season we've been talking about where the reps at, what we doing with this, how we moving with this, what's going on. Now we football guys. You know what it is when the pads get on. You know good and well, Big Snacks OG, you know good and well you can't hide when them pads get on. That's when the players separate themselves. You can't write nothing in. You ain't no hiding. But you could talk all of that stuff. You see, you was there when it was real two-a-days. When you was there when it was the real two-a-days. When you was there at 7, you got them pads on.
You went and ate lunch, you came back
and put them same pads in that hot sun, and you put them on again. And you got conditioning, and you running gassers afterwards. You got 2.
Right. My son and them go to practice at 5:30 in the morning, so they don't have to practice in the heat. I told them, y'all are a bunch of punks,
bro.
Do you know we didn't practice till after? We practice in the morning, we work out, lift some weights, do all that. After school, then it's go time when it's hot.
They time it up good where you out there at 2 o'clock.
When it's hot.
And back then, I don't know, man. Listen, I'm talking about the late 90s. I just feel like it was just hotter. At one point, it was the grass was gone. It was dirt.
It was hot.
And you remember just sitting there being like, and back then
we didn't have no jugs of water that we personally brought to practice.
No,
we had that big orange cooler. That's it. We didn't have 2 of them. We had one.
We had a trough with the water hose plugged in the trough, and we go over there, get your little water or whatever. And back then, see, we didn't know nothing about no human safety. They tell you, hey, we ain't getting no water this break. No water. Get up over here. We line it back up again. They was using water like it was a treat.
It was a treat. It was actually punishment. Because if you didn't do the drill right, you wasn't getting no water.
You wasn't getting no water.
You
at all.
Let's go. Let's put it back.
And matter of fact, we running gassers, helmets on. Keep them helmets on.
Y'all,
so,
they didn't run stadium stairs like we did.
Man, boy.
In the heat of the day.
I had to go back and think about it. I said, man, what the heck was we doing?
We were surviving.
And back then you didn't just play one way. Like they said, ain't no one way. So they flipped it. You get right on the offensive side too. We gonna get that going. And it's like, and this is 3 weeks. This is weeks of 2-a-days practice.
Yeah,
but I tell you what, I would always say that's why we talk about a lot of bad things with football. But when you got that base knowledge, when you, it almost puts it in your cells. Like when you go through 2-a-days, it's a rite of passage. That's why when you see somebody else that play football, you automatically get their respect. I played with a lot of people that I didn't see eye to eye with in college, but when I see them now, it's the highest level of respect because I know. And they know they was on that line with me when we didn't have nothing. When you was dependent on that, come on.
Then you was really dependent on him.
Really, I need you to make this time, bro, or we're gonna keep running. Like don't that put something in your DNA where it's like this little civilian life, this easy.
Yeah, this crazy, right?
I say y'all talk about y'all working. Anybody working?
I was a basketball guy. I played football. I played baseball, but I was a basketball guy. I went to Arizona State. I graduated from Arizona State. I was an all-European basketball guy in my high school years. But I played football because if you don't do something, we'll find something for you to do. I ain't even got to say who said you already.
Listen. This is why you keep talking. You preaching now. I play 3 sports. I play baseball, basketball, and football. And when football season was over, I said, "Oh no, I got to play basketball in high school." Because I said, "Listen, first and foremost, I'm not going to be running those. Y'all conditioning for football is kind of tough." I don't want to be doing all that. Then I realized all the girls like the basketball players.
Yeah,
I got helmets on. I need all the nicest looking girls. They want to see dunks and people. I said I got to be a basketball player too. But I'll tell you this: I've always said this. There's one thing that I miss so much because I used to be. If you ask me what was the funnest sport to play, it was basketball.
It was basketball.
And one thing I can say, basketball shape is the best shape in the world. Basketball shape, if you in shape to play basketball,
you can play every sport.
You can do anything you want to. The air is even lighter. You just running around. You play. You remember, getting that good sweat back in the day when people used to still play in playgrounds. You go out to the playground and play, and you got to realize that, like, yo, if we lose, we gonna be sitting out. So I got to pick my 5 correctly. Ain't no losing. Because there's 1735 people on the side.
Get on the court, you might not get back on there for a long time.
Might not be back. So you playing out there in that and actually, I done have ACL surgeries, all this other stuff. It's crazy because
I told both of mine.
So I got both of mine, left knee, right knee. I done had back surgery, neck surgery. But can you imagine playing on concrete?
Yes,
that's crazy.
We played tackle on concrete. We played tackle on the side of my grandmother's house. Do you know my grandma got a big old lot right on the side of her house.
Right.
She owned half the hood. So she cut a big empty lot because she didn't ever wanted me to stray too far from the house. All the friends come over.
Yeah.
But in that lot is rocks, big boulders poking out the ground. If you get tackled on the sideline, you getting tackled in the street. If a car's right there, you get hit. Guess where you getting hit at? On that car. And the people know that, and they park that car right there on purpose. You can't dent no 78 Cadillac.
That's steel.
Yes.
My dad had
a well put together machine.
My dad had a 69 Lincoln Continental, pearl white. That boy was, I said, what kind of steel did they make this thing up out of it? You hit something on that?
It hurt.
Ain't no aluminum.
No.
Ain't no aluminum. Man, you know what's so crazy, man, is this what I love most is, is the fact that the collective identity of the community is funny because I'm a kid that grew up in Ohio. You've been growing, you in Texas and California and places like that. But everybody remember playing tackle football and they beside of their grandma's house. Yes. Ain't that crazy? Like yes. It's like first time we ever talked, but the ability to have the same existence wherever you at.
The community, us as a collective, all of us were raised those days. I don't know about now.
Yeah.
Because grandma's 28, 25. They kind of young. They don't want to be bothered with their grandchildren. They still got to go out. We still got to hit the club. We still got to go down here and do this thing. Our grandmothers was in the house. We went to church on Wednesday night. We went to church on Sunday morning. Where you think you going? If you came in the house Saturday night at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning, man, ain't no need to go and sleep. You might want to take your bath, put your clothes on.
Yeah, that's it.
Get you some breakfast because we going Sunday school.
They was timing up. My grandmother passed when she was 90. And and it's crazy. I love my mother to death. I could say my mom and dad been married forever, but they both worked. I grew up with my grandmother. To me, that was my mom. She had a specific way that she wasn't gonna play no games. Like back then, I don't understand the level of people's grandmothers that had that. I don't know how she was able to exude such. She was a very small lady. She wasn't very loud, but she had a way. She had a way of looking at you to make you understand. Listen, I'm not playing with you today. And if you go down to that playground, these street lights better not catch you. These street lights better not. And it start your sun going down. They like, hey, we gonna run one. I got to go. I gotta go. And she be sitting right on that porch. You walk up the stairs. She tell you, we're looking at a little magazine. You cutting it kind of close, huh?
You try. You almost got it today, huh?
Almost. But them is, man. Love her to death, man. And like you said, it's that part of the Black community is missing. That part of where not only your grandmother can tell you something, but Miss Rose down on the corner will tell you something too.
And tell you up if you ain't listening.
Listen, hey, I saw you over there across the street.
I'm gonna tell you,
let me talk to you real quick. You know what I'm saying? That part, where it was, you had people on your block that you couldn't. It wasn't no skating.
No, wasn't no getting away.
No,
you couldn't do nothing because your that was a true community. That was a true communication. Because if you did something, by the time you get home, she knew about it when you got there.
I said, Deion got ESP.
Wasn't no phone calls. We had the freedom. We could get on our bikes and be going all day.
Boy,
we didn't have to report. They didn't know what we were. They didn't care because they knew we was in a group. You can't get all of us. You gonna have to fight. We ain't running. We ain't running. And most of the time, it wasn't just friends. It was all family because everybody met up at grandma's.
Man, listen.
All your cousins.
Man, you know, this is crazy. My grandmother passed away in 2018. And let me tell you this. When she passed away, now my grandfather passed away earlier than that. First of all, my grandfather, they were sharecroppers. They got married when he was 15 and she was 13. Got married, moved, and started working in steel mills in Ohio, right? And my grandfather had this personality where he used to say he used to just remember going to bed so hungry that he remembered that he said when he get older, he was never going to be hungry again. My grandfather worked. My grandmother never had a job. My grandmother never drove a car, never got a driver's license. But when she never drove, if you was anybody, if you was a kid on that block, if you was a person, it was an open door policy. If you ain't nobody go hungry. When they cooked that food, it was people from the street, people from there. You could come in that refrigerator and his pantry was open. Nobody went hungry. And on Sundays, when they cooked the meals, everybody there. And so
wasn't no phone calls needed to be made though. Wasn't no reaching out. Wasn't no you tell my sister, tell your cousin them. Everybody knew Sunday, 2:00 after church, where we going? Grandma,
everybody.
It don't even matter.
And when she passed away, so many people, my aunts, my cousins, even my mom, she said, it's just different. It's different. There's a piece missing from just saying, you know, my cousins, all of us say, man, I just remember sitting on that porch talking to the night come on. And then, you know, you in the summertime, you get that the mosquitoes get bad. So they had to light something so the mosquitoes wouldn't get you. But those times are where a lot of character is built. And those are some of the times that I feel sorry for the new generation because they don't never get to know. It's like a part that's missing. They'll never get to know that feeling of family and community. And even if you didn't have much, you didn't have much.
You didn't have to have much.
You at least y'all had each other. And for that time period, y'all was good, and everything in the world was great. That was it.
I told almost that exact story yesterday in my live stream about how my grandmother's house, when I came home for the summertime, was the place to be, because that's how I got my name, Snacks. Because when I came home, because I grew up in Germany, I told everybody that. When I came home for the summertime, my grandmother owned her own business, and she owned a bunch of houses in that neighborhood. Everybody rented their house for my grandma. So we had the means. I was her only grandchild. Because my mom divorced my dad, married my stepdad, which a man that I have never called him a stepfather in my life. He was my dad. And when he died, he was my dad. When my biological father died, he was my dad. I told people I'm the luckiest man in the world. I had two fathers that loved me, not one. One was a military man, and the other one was a street general. So I know both sides, and I played in both sides.
Oh, you dangerous.
Yes.
Oh, you listen. So you, you listen. You know the real game. You got you got both games.
I got both games. And when I come home, it be all the homies, because my auntie been told them, hey, Rick coming home in a couple of days. And when I show up, it's going down. Like my house is now. My grandmama, I had an Atari, a ColecoVision, a
Mm.
Sega Genesis, a Nintendo. My grandma's house had a pool table, a ping pong table, and when she went to the store, she bought enough snacks for everybody.
Boy, I feel like
Everybody, my house was the party house when I went home for the summertime because it didn't matter. If you didn't have no food, you come to Rick's house and eat. If you didn't have no way, if you wanted to spend the night, you spend the night on my house, on my grandma's house. And she didn't care because long as she could call your parents and they said it was okay,
it was good.
you was good. You knew you was going to eat. She knew that this was it because she didn't want me far away from the house.
Man.
We had a house across the street that was kind of old. She wasn't renting it out. She bulldozed the whole lot and put up a full court and put a chain link fence around it. So when we shot it, put it up top so the ball wouldn't go out into the street. And that's where we played ball at. She put lights up there so she could see us. And we directly across the street from the house. So now I don't have to beat the street light home.
You know what's so funny is imagine how many kids in that neighborhood she affected their lives.
She was it, man. I keep telling people, I've been telling people all my life, I grew up a lot different from my homies. You know, and I got 4 partners to this day that they are like my brothers, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But my class of living was different from them because I'm a military vet, because my grandmother owned her own business. She taught at Tuskegee at the nursing school. She got a whole dorm over there named after her. We owned a pool hall in the square in Tuskegee. I spent hours in that thing. I am a pool shark.
That's it. The fact that she's doing this back in the day is beautiful. It's showing the levels of business owner, right? As a woman, a black woman, that's a crazy thing.
Yeah. She owned a income tax business, a bookkeeping business, right? So she's keeping books of we in Birmingham, Alabama. So she keeping books of all the businesses, all the black-owned business. She got them, you know, and a few of the big bakeries and things of that nature in town. So she got a good-sized business. She even franchised it out, bought another shop, gave another dude his own business. You get this, I'm gonna get a piece of it. You know, so I'm living good. All my partners, we in the hood. We ain't moved out the hood. So everybody else in the hood is still struggling. But we making plenty money. So when my grandma went to the store, I'm the only grandchild. So there's no way I'm suffering for nothing. My dad went to a private school and still turned out to be the devil. You know, still turned out to be a criminal. I ain't mad at it. But when you got so much and all I saw this lady do was give. If you needed something, if you called her, and she would answer the phone. If you were late on your rent, if you didn't have it, she didn't care. Don't worry about it, baby. We'll work it out. You got people 5, 6, 7 months behind on their rent. She ain't struggling, but she know they struggling. She trying to help. She already owned the houses, so she ain't paying nothing. By the time I grew up, I realized, well, she ain't paying nothing but taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And she ain't hurting for that. If you pay 2, 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months rent, your taxes paid. She covered. So only thing you got to do is pay your bills. You get a little behind, you need a little help, you know, grandma got you. But every day when she came home from work, before she came home from work, she went to the store. Every day, 5 days a week. When grandma pulled up in that big blue station wagon, Chevy, big blue station wagon, you can't miss it. The back of that mug was full of groceries.
Hey, you got to eat.
And she didn't have to ask nobody she didn't have to say, hey, y'all come get these groceries. When they saw the Chevy pull up, everybody followed the Chevy to the back because we got to get these groceries. Because we know it's
we
how
know
we
what's in there
all day. We over here all day. We got to eat.
Yeah, right. Like people, what type of time you want right now?
And Miss Honey ain't saying no, baby. What you want? You okay? You need anything? She'll come out the door, holler. What y'all need over there? Y'all need some water? Y'all need some juices? Y'all all right? Did y'all eat? Y'all get out that sun for a little while. Get y'all some water. I'm going house. Man. It's Saturday. We trying to get it in. After the cartoons go off, we out there.
Man, I could sit here and talk about the good old days.
Oh, all forever. Day long, dog.
Forever. Like, it's just, those are the things that those are the little small things that you realize and you go back and look at, and you just grateful that you did grow up and have those influential people in your life where, at least you got those great memories. And then look, you pay it forward. You know what they did. You take some of the lessons they gave you and you pay it forward.
Yes, that's why my house is what it is today. You gotta keep the party going. But y'all, appreciate y'all for everything. Y'all make sure y'all go follow G Bush on all of his social media accounts, on his YouTube channel. Make sure you watch him on UCSS when he makes his appearances on 92.3 The Fan. So you didn't know I knew all this. I've been watching you since I became. It ain't no homework. It's just me watching. I've been watching, and I say this is that guy. He that boy. You gotta respect it. When you see it, you respect it.
I appreciate you.
And I know you understand exactly what I'm saying. And I'm sorry, y'all, we didn't get into all the Shadour stuff. This is the first one. So give us a minute. Shadour ain't going nowhere.
We said we're gonna have a conversation, like you said. We're gonna be back doing the same thing. We're gonna talk, and it's just, listen, this one of them, you just having a conversation, right? You just talking. We're gonna get to a lot of stuff, man. We're gonna get to the Shadour thing. Guess what? The season gonna be around. And so make sure, as we said before, make sure you go in and follow on all social medias. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we're gonna be here kicking it back. We just sitting on the porch right now. So come on in. It's easy conversation if you're tapping in. So we appreciate you, man.
Oh, no doubt, man. And y'all, we gonna get out of here. Me and G Bush gonna cook up some stuff. I'm telling y'all, we not done. So
not done.
Y'all make sure y'all know how we do over here at the lunch table. Y'all make sure y'all holler at the CU aunties. If y'all see them in the chat, if y'all see them in the street or in the YouTube comment sections, make sure you get those ladies respect and all those things. Me and G Bush gonna get out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. We gonna holler at y'all. We out. Peace.
Peace.